Hey guys, welcome to today's demo. So today I wanted to share with you the world of reflections and stamping with reflections or creating that silhouette kind of appearance. So we're going to kind of be talking about a couple different things. So first I wanted to start with silhouettes. Okay, so in a situation like this, oftentimes I'm always think this is just a piece of white paper here. I'm using a white surface today so you can see a little bit better when I stamp the images down. But what I'm going to do on my piece of white paper here is I'm going to start with an image that I think would look good as a silhouette. So I kind of looked through my collections and I was like, oh, this cute little cactus would make a cute little silhouette. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to stamp this down. I'm inking up my stamp from the back side like I normally do. And I'm just going to stamp this in place. And I actually wanted to create a cute little row of cacti here. So I'm just going to go ahead and stamp a few of these. So, and I always stamp my stamp from the back side so that way I can maintain a crisp image. Most ink pads in the art industry are raised up like this, so then as you tap on the ink, you can see when your image is fully inked. And then that way you don't accidentally over ink it. And I'm actually going to go off the edge here because for what I am doing here, I really want there to be at least 4. So I think we're just going to go with those guys. Oh, and of course they're not all super close together, but that's okay. All right, I'm going to clean this off really fast. Whoops. Getting all my stamp cleaner. Okay. All right. So now we have our little cacti. We're just waiting for that ink there to dry. Then what I'm going to use is I'm just going to get out a nice black pen here. I think this one will work, but we'll see if it's dark enough, and if not, then we'll move to the other ones. So what I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to actually color in this image completely, and I'm actually going to do that with 3 of these little images here. So if you use a nice black pen, you can really get in here and really, especially the one that has a fine point as well, you can get in all the little corners and everything. What's nice about stamping with and creating a silhouette with a stamp you already have is that you're going to end up, when you're looking through your collections, you'll be like, oh, this image would actually make a really cute silhouette, or this image would make a really cute silhouette. So it actually is a way to make your stamps usable and take them even farther and do more things with them, which I always think is kind of fun. So I'm just going to finish coloring this in here. This is a pen I use literally all the time, so I can tell that it's getting kind of low on ink here. So I'm going to use a different pen for my other silhouettes here. This first one that I'm using is called the Fudenosuke hard brush tip, where it is actually a brush tip, but what's cool about it is that on a fine line, I'm just going to write a little word here. You can write a fun little word. But what's also really cool is that when you go up on edge, you get that thicker line too. So what actually makes it really cool for doing like kind of faux calligraphy. Okay. All right. So then we have our little silhouette guy. Okay. So there we have the first one. Okay, so you can see how cute that little cactus silhouette is. And my thought here was that we would color in even a couple more of these. Oh, why not? I'll just continue to use this pen here. So the idea being, let me see if my other one is a little bit darker. I use these pens literally all the time. Nope. So I'm probably just going to have to finish coloring with this guy. Or if you have a thicker black marker, you could always go in with a thicker black marker and finish that off. But what I love about this is that you get you get the more detailed image, which will be our focal point, and then you have all of the little silhouettes kind of surrounding it, and those are just going to be kind of the background. So then that way they're accenting your focal point here. Okay. Oh, I'm just going to color this in just a little bit more. Again, I can tell my pen is getting low. Oh, you know what I should have chosen? I'm going to go grab it. A Tombow marker. That makes way more sense. The black Tombow marker is certainly better. Of course, when using a large brush tip, then it's harder to get in all the little detailed areas here. There we go. All right, and then we'll do the last one. So again, I'm not going to color in this one right here because that's going to be my focal point for my drawing here. Oh my gosh. Really? It's just because I use these markers literally all the time. Obviously you can tell black is the color that I'm using most here at the shop. It's because I love to draw so much, so all my drawing black pens are getting low on ink. I just need to get some more. Okay. What we're gonna do is this guy. I'm gonna use a different pen for the rest of these. But just wanted to show you your choices here. All right. Again, I think the Fudenosuke is definitely my favorite drawing brush pen. It's so nice. It depends on the type of brush you're doing. Okay, so then of course we have our cute little cactus drawing here. I'm just doing a cute little doodle here just to kind of give that a nice focal point. Okay. And there we have our cute little silhouette cactus image. Isn't that cute? So you have your nice little sentiment down here, and then you have your little cacti, and then of course you could do some watercoloring and color in your little cactus, or maybe you want to add a cute little face or something right there. Maybe we'll do that. We'll add a cute little smiley face. Yay! Even more fun. All right. Sweet. Okay, on to the next one. Okay, so now I'm going to show you about drawing reflections. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to be doing it on this piece of paper. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually stamp onto my craft mat. So this is a silicone craft mat. You can use a blue one, you can use a gray one. It doesn't really matter the color as long as it's that material, which is this kind of, it's a silicone. So of course it's not going to bend on you. It'll just stay in the shape that it's meant to be and lay flat on your counter. So what I'm going to do here is I'm using this little sailboat stamp. I'm actually going to stamp it upside down. Okay, and you're just going to stamp, and then you're going to lift straight up. Okay, so now I'm going to go in here. I'm going to aim about where I want it to be. Just gonna press down in place, and then I'm just going to press on my paper here, and this is going to lift the image up off of the paper and put it onto my paper. Okay, so of course it's upside down, which I wanted to do on purpose. And clean that off. All right, now this ink that I used here, the VersaFine Clair ink, is waterproof when dry, which means that when I go in and do watercoloring here in a little bit, that ink is not going to move on me. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and stamp the top part, because remember this is the reflection that I stamped first. So now I'm just going to line this up, and I'm going to stamp this right above it. Okay, so that becomes this reflection, and that top stamp is a little bit darker than that reflection stamp, right? Because the reflection oftentimes is a little bit lighter in color. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do a little bit of watercoloring. Hold on just a second. The benefit here of using a white craft mat, this one has the little, I don't know if you guys can see this here, but it actually has the little boop, boop. These little guys on the side here, the little palette, so you can actually color your Tombow markers in the little palettes. This is a very fancy craft mat, but it is so amazing. Oh my gosh, I just love it so much. So I'm actually going to be coloring in there. So then I can actually add some water here and do a little bit of watercoloring. Okay. Now remember, I want this to kind of be like the water, right? And then we're going to kind of go like this. I'm going to add just a touch of a little purple up here. And maybe just a little bit more blue. And then of course, because we have our sky, right, that we were trying to create over here, or the land, or whatever you want to call it, I want that to be just a little bit darker here. I'm not going to add as much water to that guy. go into this blue sky here. All right. Okay, and add just a little bit more blue. Sky here. And then we're going to add some more water lines in here. Alright, I'm just going with my marker here so I can add a little bit more darker kind of green color in the background. And then I'm going to add just a little bit more blue. Alright, I'm going to activate that just a little bit more with some more watercolor up here just to make it look a little bit more watercolory. And a little bit more green in here. And a little bit more green in here. Oh, I gotta give myself a little water line, don't I? Do a little bit of this darker color up here at the top. Whoop. Alright, and there we have our little reflection. Of course, I had like some trees and things. I could also do another little line down there at the bottom, but I think I'm going to leave that as is. I have my little black pen here. That way there's at least a little bit and some shadow there. Okay, so there we have our reflection. Isn't that cool? So you have your little image and then you have the little reflection there. Of course, I'm realizing here that my reflection is just a little off. I need to have maybe just a little bit more land here as kind of the separation. There we go. All right, and there we have reflection. So you just take a stamp it on the craft mat, and then you do your lift, and then you stamp here the more solid image. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to show you how to make that same kind of idea using kind of a combination of a couple different things we just did. So before I get too much further, I'm going to grab one more. Grab a different black marker here. Okay, no problem. All right, so now what we're going to do here is I wanted to stamp this little swan here, okay? So once again, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stamp out. I'm going to do my reflection first. I'm actually going to do this little swan and a little baby. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp this out first. I'm stamping down, and I'm going to lift straight up so that that image doesn't get muddled. I'm going to line this up and just go ahead and press that down. And I'm going to lift up so I get my little reveal. So again, that's going to be my reflection. And then I'm going to go ahead and just clean this off really fast. All right. Okay. So now I'm going to stamp these other images. I'm going to do the other ones in black. And I'm going to do all of these up here at the top here. Now I had the reflection, but I also wanted to do some reverse because I want them kind of going in different directions, right? So I want this guy to be over here on this side, and I'm going to want him to kind of be a little bit more kind of off the page a little bit. Okay. So we have this guy here, that guy there, and then of course I want to add in my actual birds, and so I'm going to do, I want this little guy here. Hold on. I want him to be one of the little silhouettes too. And maybe I'm going to put this guy over here. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to stamp my other little images, and I'm going to stamp them in blue. Okay. And I want these guys to be up above my original images, right? Oh, I need to clean this up really fast, so that way I don't accidentally end up with the swan in a weird place. Okay. Oops. All right, so now I'm going to stamp this little guy right above that guy. Basically, the bottoms are going to meet. And then I'm also going to do that with the larger one too. And this time again, the little bottoms are going to meet right there. Okay. Okay. All right, so now we're going to go in and we are going to add, we're just going to go ahead and color all of these guys in. I'm going to use a different pen this time. I'm just going to use a Uniball gel pen, black gel pen here. Any black pen or marker will work for coloring in your silhouettes. You just got to kind of use the pen that's going to be your preference. All right. And now I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to color in this little face here. Completely color this in. All the way down there. And up here. Again, this is just going to kind of give the look and appearance of a silhouette in the background. Kind of accenting the focal point here, which is going to be the swans in the middle. All right, and then this little guy on the side here. Oops, I got my little mark there, I see, from my finger probably. So I'm just going to be coloring in the silhouettes. So not these four right here in the middle. Okay. All right. Okay, and the wing. All right, so now I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to draw a line right here. This is going to be where the top of maybe the little swamp is. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do a little bit of watercolors, all right? I'm going to do the kind of, I'm going to use this bit of a marker here just underneath where I think the shadows kind of might be. And then we're going to do a little bit more watercolors. I took that to the side there. Oh, I'm going to dry this off a little bit, so then that way I'm not getting my markers all wet. We're going to add in some blue there, some blue green here, and some green, and add just a little bit more of this kind of bluish in there. Okay, all right, now we're going to add a little bit more watercolor here. This looks just, it's going to be kind of a purple. That's kind of the color I've chosen for the swamp here because I want to, I'm going to paint my swans kind of like a light blue. Okay. It's going to be kind of a swampy night. Okay. All right. right, and then my background here. Just do like a light painting around. Get that to be just a little bit darker for the top there. So I'm going to go in and add just some darker colors there. Going around my little swan silhouettes for the background. Again, I'm making sure not to actually paint my little swans there. So I want those to actually be swan color. Okay, and then I'm going to go with a little touch of blue up here. Kind of get that blue color, blue purple kind of color all the way around. All right. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to go in and add just a tiny little bit of this kind of blue-green. I'm going to dilute that out quite a bit so I can get just a very soft light blue color for my swans here. I'm going to go in just a little bit more detailed color here with these guys here. All right, and there we have our little silhouette guys. Of course, now I'm realizing here I would need to color these in darker, so I might as well just go ahead and add those in right now. I just realized I didn't even think about that. Oh, actually, why don't we do this instead? Since that's not supposed to be the focal point, we want the focal point to be these guys. I'm going to go in and use my black and just add in a little bit of shadow here. Oh, let's see here. We'll just go like this. I want it to not be as the most obvious thing ever. We want the focal point to be those guys. There we go. Now it's not so awkward. Those guys are just going to kind of be in the distance there. Cute, huh? Isn't that fun? And of course you can go in and add little stars or add some like little fun little sky things. But there we are. We have our fun little silhouette. Isn't that cute? Okay. All right. Now on to the last idea. So the last idea I wanted to share with you guys today is actually using things from outside. So I'm going to show you. So I went outside a little bit ago and picked just some fun little sprigs and things. You never know what you're going to find out there in the world. And then I found this little box here, just a miscellaneous little random box, and I'm actually going to do some spray inks using the pieces that we just picked as little fun little silhouettes. So I suggest when you're doing this, after you pick your items, you might want to lay them underneath a flat book so that they stay kind of a little bit more flat. Otherwise, you may end up with just something that is a little bit more kind of harder to control. So I'm going to just lay these kinds of things on here because I just want to create kind of a fun silhouette. And so I want them to kind of do color blocks here where they're kind of blocking out some color, but in other areas they're not going to allow that ink to kind of go underneath it. I recommend using something that's a little bit more flat so that way the chances of the ink going underneath it are less likely. Just kind of playing around here with which ones I want to use. I think that's the one I want to use. I'm going to use this guy here. I don't know how this is going to work out. So this is oftentimes what happens with demo. I don't know how it's going to go. So let's just see what happens. All right. Okay. So I'm going to use a couple different colors of spray ink. I'm going to use the yellow. I'm using oxide spray inks because I really love the colors of them. I'm doing the yellow, and I'm going to use Cactus Pistachio. Again, I'm mostly aiming on spraying down, so then that way the items that are there are going to be acting as a mask, but also creating kind of cool plant silhouettes. And I'm even going to go a little bit darker, so that way I've worked kind of light to dark, so that way the undertone of this blue is going to be the green and the yellow. All right, let's see the reveal. Let's see if this actually worked. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, that kind of worked. Well, that's a little bit more fun. Not as amazing, as intense as I liked, but you never know. Oh, that's kind of interesting. Kind of like how random and kind of sporadic it is. It does look a little bit kind of like plants, but yeah, you know, maybe not so much. I think I'm going to do a couple more because I wanted to kind of, I'm looking for kind of a really particular effect. So let's see what else we can create here. Because, you know, I love to experiment and kind of see what we can do. I'm mostly going to focus now on putting things kind of up from the bottom. And so then that way there's more color at the top and more random kind of sprigs and things here at the bottom. And let's see if we can get kind of a neat kind of resist look. Again, I never really know what we're going to end up with. So it's always good to kind of experiment, kind of see what other people do, because they may lead to give you more ideas. All right, I'm going to do my same kind of color palette. Oop, I'm getting low on my yellow. I use the yellow the most. I think this time I'm mostly just going to focus on the greens and not so much on the blues. All right, let's see if we got anything else that we can actually work with here. A little bit more random, not as exciting, but you never know. Again, you never kind of know what you're going to kind of create or what you're going to kind of get when you're doing oxide inks like this. Okay, I'm going to do one more, and this time I'm just going to do the leaves because I find that I like the color blocking of the leaves quite a bit more here. I'm noticing that the effect is a little bit more obvious. And I love this shape of this little sprig here. Oh, I'm noticing that there's ink on it. So maybe if I put that to the side, I'll get something a little different. I'm just going to throw in these grasses here because, again, I don't really know the effect we're going to get. Let's do less ink and see if that makes a difference. Okay. Already I can see that grass is kind of cool. All right. Oh, that didn't really show up as well as I thought it might. Yeah, it's kind of fun, a little interesting. I think what I'm also going to do here, since I have ink on the back side of this, I'm actually going to flip this over and press it down and see if we can get kind of an impression there. I think I need a paper towel behind this, but I'm thinking like this. I'm going to just use, let's see if I can, let's see what happens here. I don't want to get ink all over my hands, but I also want there to be a clean impression. Oh, that is actually kind of cool. Oh my gosh, I love that. Oh, I think I'm going to go back in and do that with the rest of these. Ooh, that is fun. I'm not sure I'm going to get a very similar shape on that though. Let's see what else I can do here. Oh, I think I'm going to try anyway. Even though it's not exact. Let's see if we can get something kind of cool. Oftentimes with doing art like this, I'm kind of experimenting, so you guys get to see what I see. And that's kind of neat. I'm actually kind of really into this. It's kind of, the effect is kind of fun, kind of happened by accident, but that's oftentimes in the world of creating and doing art and crafts. Sometimes things happen by accident and we love the effect. Ooh, that is cool. That is cool. I have one more here, and technically it's the green again, but it doesn't really fit in any of these places. I think I'm going to flip this over and do this on this one because I love that look, and I think I want to do it on this. Again, I know it's not going to match up perfectly, but interesting with leaves is that they're like almost symmetrical, and so I think this effect works in that fashion because they are almost symmetrical. I think I'm going to see if this one has any spray ink left on it, and if so, it might fit right there. Let's see what we got. Oh, it's not as cool, but still kind of an interesting effect. All right, you guys. Well, that is today's demo. I hope that you had fun and learned things and were inspired, even though demos with me are always kind of up in the air. You never know what you're going to get. Might be kind of fun, might be kind of interesting, you might learn something. Hope you guys always learn something. Anyways, there we have for today's demo ideas. All right, you guys, I hope you have a fun rest of your week, and I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.